Big fight tomorrow night. Gegard Mousasi, Douglas Lima, something that fans have been anticipating for a while. How excited are you for it that it's finally here?
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is a fight that I'm so glad we could put together before the end of the year. It was supposed to happen in San Jose, I think in May, but COVID and all that happened. So to me, I'm just gonna sit back as a fan. I'm just gonna watch it. Both these guys are friends of mine. I'm just sit back and enjoy it and watch it like a fan, like everybody else out there. So to me, I'm really, really excited. And this is a fight that I think the fans really want to see. I think that my staff is excited. Everybody's excited. So it's gonna be some fireworks tomorrow night.
When you look up and down your roster and you think about these two fighters stepping in there together, I mean, is this one of the best fights that you think you could put on right now?
Absolutely. I mean, we have some great fights lined up coming up, and we had a great fight last weekend with Cyborg. But when you talk about pound for pound, right, and you talk about the quality of these two individuals, and like I said before, the issue with Gegard fighting, let's say Rory, when Rory wanted to come up, Rory was so small, he couldn't hang with the size of Gegard, and Gegard just basically took it to him. So this is a little bit different because Lima is a big 170 pounder, and I bet you like. He's probably walking around at 200, right? So for him to come to 85, it's not that bad. And when I was looking at both of them for the weigh-ins, I'm like, Lima looks bigger than Gegard to me right now. So to me, the size of the athlete and the physicality is not going to be a problem for Lima. So it's going to be very interesting. Now it's going to be about strategy and tactics and who can execute.
Yeah, and I think you're right there. I think Lima actually weighed more on the scales this morning. So definitely an interesting move there. And as a promoter, making these kind of super fights, as people call them, a former champ against the current champ, is it difficult for you sometimes because you're like, hey, one of these guys is going to have to lose?
I mean, to me, it's like, look, if there's something that they want to do, because Lima came to me with this fight. It wasn't like, we had to talk him into it, or we asked Gegard, do you want to do this? Lima came to us and said, I want to fight Gegard, and I want to fight for the 185-pound belt. So I said, okay. So that's how this fight came about. It wasn't us having to coax these guys into it. So to me, if the fighters want to fight other athletes, it makes sense for everybody, then let's get it on. I mean, to me, that's what fans want to see.
Yeah, and Jake Hager makes his return tomorrow. It's been a year since we've seen him fight. Yesterday when we spoke to him, he said, he's kind of getting his reps in now. He's fighting guys with similar skill level as him, but he thought in 1 year he would be able to kind of fight some contenders and fight at the highest level in Bellator. Do you see that happening, or do you think it will be a little slower of a burn than that?
I feel like this with Jake. It's just the consistency, right? So if I know he's got a busy wrestling schedule and he's popular and he's got other commitments, but if we could get him in here and have him fight 4 or 5 fights in, let's say, a 12, 14-month period, just keep him busy every 2 months, every 3 months. I think that consistency could lead to him fighting some of the bigger athletes or the people that are more established. And it's no different than when Bobby Lashley was here, right? When we're promoting Bobby Lashley, I went through the same thing with him. It's like he had a wrestling schedule, he was traveling here, traveling there, and I'm thinking, man, this guy is really developing, and if he could just stay here for a year and just fight every other month. I saw his growth, and he could do it. Bobby was a guy that could do it, and I think Jake's a guy that could do it. They just need that consistency, the rep, the growth. Then they could get it on with the bigger guys.
Yeah, and something else that's happening tomorrow night is you guys have a 3-fight main card starting at 8 o'clock Eastern. Is that something that we can expect going forward, kind of an earlier start time with the shortened main card?
The time frame really is based on the commitments they have with CBS Sports Network has with football and different sports. But you might see a little bit of an hour here, hour there flexibility. And when you say a 3-fight card, we have a tremendous amount of commercial load that we have to put into the show, and we have a 2-hour stop that has to happen because they're going right into another football something. So we have to deliver the show in 2 hours. So to me, better safe than sorry. And they mapped it all out. They said if we don't do it this way and the fights go over, then we're going to be in an issue. So we said, look, let's let's do 3 fights and let's be good to our partners, and that's why it's a 3-fight card tomorrow.
Yeah, selfish East Coaster, I love it. I've watched it at many midnights to watch fights, so I'm here for it. Something else I wanted to ask you about that yesterday, this list surfaced of fighters who are no longer on the Bellator roster. It seems like this has been happening. It's a list that accumulated over weeks, if not months. Is that just kind of a reflection of you signed a bunch of people recently, so obviously you only have so many spaces on the roster? Is that kind of what it's about?
Yeah, I mean, the article really is, a reflection of where the company is going, right? And one of the things about running this company with 250, 270, almost sometimes we're at 300 athletes, is like there's only so many, like you said, TV spots, and there's only so much room on the roster. And so sometimes fighters retire, like Pat Curran, he retired, John Fitch retired. Sometimes their fighters' contracts run out, and that's just what it is. We chose not to resign them, or they went somewhere else. And so, to me, it's just a 30 fighters that have basically gone, and we signed 30 new fighters. And so we need to make room for some of the new athletes on the roster, and really it's a period over since. This is the first time this has happened, I think, since February, right? So you're talking about 30 athletes in a 10-month period. So you're talking about 3 athletes a month going in and out. It's really not that much. It just seems like a lot because we haven't done it since COVID hit, and that's been about 10 months ago.
Gotcha. And somebody else that departed your roster that is not a fighter is Mercedes Terrell. She recently came out and she did an interview with us, and she talked about the times you have. Were you kind of sad to see her go?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? She's still part of the family. And I told her, hey, you're always welcome to come and be a part of the team. And her husband is here, working with us too. So she'll always be a part of the Bellator family. She'll always be the very first ring girl here in the company. And she was here way before me. I mean, she's been here, since I think day one. So to me, she's, she is definitely going to be treated with that respect. And she'll be around. We'll find something for her to do.
Cool. And last question, looking at your upcoming schedule and the fights you've already put on since you guys have returned from the pandemic break, Lima McFarland is the only champion, I believe, that isn't scheduled or hasn't fought. So is there any sort of update on her? Are you guys trying to get her back in soon?
We're working on something, but I don't want to, it's not quite done yet, but we're working on something with her. And, we're talking about the tournament, we're talking about single fights, but, we do want to get her back into the cage, here in the next couple months.
Great. Appreciate the time, Scott, and good luck with the event tomorrow night.
Thank you so much.